Hi everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Rural Juror Brewery Tour. Well said. I'm Seth. Today we have an exciting Homebrew 101 episode for you. This is all about the pitfalls and little things that they don't tell you about setting up your own home brewing system. Alright, let's get right into it. A number of months ago, I was lucky enough to get into a home brewing system. So I decided, after months and months and months of homework, I was going to go out and get things started. So I needed to buy a brewing system or some sort of parts that go with it. I needed to get carboys. Actually, I was lucky enough to have a number of those already. Bungs, kegs, kegerators, hoses, taps, CO2 tanks, all that stuff. It was a pretty good amount of money to shell out all at once. Now, thankfully, there's some tricks and tips about getting used, which I'll share with you a little bit later and as we go through. It was a little expensive to get going, like I said, but once you actually get brewing, each amount of grain and everything else is only about $40 to $50 per 5 gallons of beer. Pretty economical. It should pay for itself the more you drink. At least that's what I'm trying to tell myself. I decided I was going to go with the Robobrew system. Now, there's lots of different all-in-one systems that you can do. I decided on the Robobrew just because it's a little bit cheaper and because of its reputation. I'd also used it once before with Ralph, if you check out our past episodes. The big thing about the Robobrew is that you just pull it out of the box, put it together, sanitize it, and get brewing. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. The one big thing you want to make sure you're always doing is checking all of the functions, including the pump, before you actually get 5 gallons of water and all your grain in there. That was a bit of a mistake that I made. I didn't check the pump each time. So after you brew, make sure you put lots of water in it, turn on the pump, circulate it through, get out anything, any little bits of sugar and anything in there, make sure it's nice and clean. I decided I was going to do a few modifications to my Robobrew. I made sure that I got the compression fittings for my cooling coil. Now it's great, I can hook it right up to the tap, circulate things through as I go. Really great. I also decided to get a winch and pulley rope system so that I could actually pull the mash out when I'm lautering. Not that it's really heavy, just that it's awkward when it's so high. It's hard to pull it up so high, it's really above your head. The winch made it so much easier. I also made sure that I had a recirculating line and a whirlpool line for my pump. The whirlpool line was excellent. Now, I really thought when I started I was going to be bottling my beer, but at the last second I decided I was just going to bite the bullet, buy some kegs, a CO2 tank, all that stuff. Now, I decided to go a little bit cheaper. I bought 2 used Cornelius Kegs. They were clean, but not super clean. I had to make sure that I scrubbed them out and everything else. I made sure I bought a new regulator because I wanted to make sure that didn't leak. And I bought 2 picnic taps to go with it, or sometimes they're called Cobra taps. I was lucky enough to have a used fridge, so that's really all I needed. Now, with the Cornelius Kegs, I had a bit of an issue. When I was trying to actually pressurize them, I could not get them to pressurize. I started with about 25 pounds of pressure, and I just thought that they would just clip down and seal. Boy, was I wrong. No. I actually had to take the O-ring off of the top, flip it over, get the O-ring wet, grab and pull on the actual lid up while it's pressurizing, wiggle it a little bit to get it to seal, then snap it down into place. I lost quite a bit of CO2 the first couple times that I did that. Now that I know what I'm doing, it goes very quickly, but that first time, there was a lot of CO2 I was wasting. My CO2 tank I bought new, nice and shiny. It comes empty, and I went to go get it filled. But my usual gas place wouldn't fill it. They would only exchange it. Well, they only had a really old, dirty, gross looking steel tank. Now really, I know that it's what's inside that counts. At least that's what my wife tells me. But I also wanted to make sure mine still looked nice. So I found a fire extinguisher refill business, and they actually did it while I waited. They filled it. It was much cheaper than even swapping it out. And now I have a nice shiny tank. I also had a few regulator issues. I've used regulators before, but this one was just a little bit different. My dial wouldn't turn at first, and when it did turn, I didn't notice that it was turning the whole face of it. I could not get my dial setting knob to pull out. I actually had to take my regulator apart and push it through, and then it works fine. Now it works like a champ. It's great. Now, where do you buy all this stuff? Where would you go and look for all of these things? Well, you can look at your local brick and mortar place. We've got a good one in town called Danny's. You could look at Amazon, online things, something like that. There's also a great beer supplier called OBK. Stands for Ontario Beer Kegs. It's located in Mitchell, but they don't have a brick and mortar store you can go and visit. It's all online. They ship very quickly. They have a great, huge amount of product, everything you could ever need. They also have lots of grains and recipes on their website. If you buy their grain kit, it's actually just a bunch of grain that they're putting together for you. The recipe has been used lots, and you can see all the feedback from that. They work out quite well, especially for a starter. If you're looking for other recipes or apps to use, you can look at the Brew Father, or Beersmith is another good one. They have lots of feedback and many comments on people that have made that particular recipe in the past. If you're looking for other online things, there's the IBU calculator websites, there's specific gravity checkers. It's just vast. The amount of things out there is awesome. I hope you learned a little bit from this video. I hope that if you're trying to set up your own home brewing system, that these things will help you out, especially moving forward. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe below. Check out our website, ruraljurorbrewerytour.com. Lots of great beer-related videos there. Our beer blog, everything's there. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.